Okay, it is 6:01. I'm going to officially call this meeting to order. Thank you all for coming on what has turned out to be a sunny evening, so that's nice. If we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, have board members had a chance to take a look at the agenda? Matt's got it. There have been no omissions or corrections or additions, so if there's a motion.
I'll move to accept the agenda.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Hearing none, the agenda has been adopted. And now we will go to Brenda, our Assistant Superintendent, for the Superintendent's report because Wyeth will not be at the meeting this evening.
Thank you, President Davidson, Shelton Board, student representatives, community members, and staff. Just briefly, I'm sure you all know last week was spring break. I hope everyone got a restful week off, including students and families. But I do want to give a shout out for our year-round employees because they work hard during that week to keep your schools going and do all their projects while the students aren't in session. So I do want to thank them for all their hard work. I do want to say hiring is going well. Superintendent Jesse, as part of the strategic plan, did a goal of invest in effective educators and leaders. So part of that process was to start the hiring earlier with budget, and we have done that with our certificated staff. So we've been posting positions, and I'm pleased to say HR is excited because we're getting lots of qualified, excellent applicants. So we have started hiring already, so that's great. Along with that, we still need bus drivers. I'm going to follow with Superintendent Jesse's weekly thing. We do the training. We pay to be trained. We have our trainers on staff. So if anyone's interested, please call district office at 360-426-1687. Thank you.
Yes, always looking for the best drivers. Thank you, Brenda, for the report. Now we will go into community comments, and we do have 2 people that have signed up so far for community comments, so I will read our standard language around community comments. As part of the regular school board meeting, the board invites community members to make public comments in person and/or by phone as conditions allow. If speaking in person, please follow the public comment procedure by signing in and stating your name and address at the podium when called by the board chair. If making comments by phone, please dial 1-253-215-8782 and enter meeting ID number 854-3386-9913. Each person is allowed 3 minutes to speak. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the board is not allowed to discuss items that are not on the agenda. The board will direct the superintendent to follow up on any items that arise during public comment as appropriate. The board will not allow complaints against an individual staff member or student in open session unless that individual has requested an open public hearing. All right, I've got Kara Medcalf up first. Yes, it's better for the recording as well as.
Are we going? Okay, I'm not good with talking in front of people, so we'll go with it. So I want to say good morning, good evening, and thank you for your guys' time and effort for being on the board, and thank you for showing up because this is what we need to do for our kids. I keep hearing, why are you standing up? And I keep hearing, it's okay, you don't have to do that. And I don't feel that that's right. I feel like we need to stand, we need to be here for our kids, for the staff, for just everything in general, and I don't think people are listening. I think people are just having their blinders on, and I am just sad about what's going on. So my question, I'm going to go off. Do you guys have kids, grandkids, family, or friends that attend the Shelton School District? If so, are you proud of what's happening at our schools? I'm not. I'm very disappointed and very sad. And then I want to start with drugs. When I was at school, they had marijuana and beer. I mean, what's that? Nowadays, you have pills that can kill kids instantly. But what are we doing to protect our kids and our staff? Are we not protecting them because we don't have money, because the money is spent on other agendas? Bullying. Bullying is very, very awful at many, many schools. Not only bullying is during kids, but staff members are bullying staff members as well. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this. You go out and you hear different comments about teachers, about, making fun about their teachers. That's not cool. This needs to stop. Going to school and taking, there's a full class of kids, and you have one kid that's throwing things across the classroom. What do? Let's just take all the kids out. So we have less learning. So you wonder why kids are struggling. There's no punishments. There's just rewarding the kids that are bad. We're just going to leave you in there and it's okay. Why are we still having bus driver issues? Just a thought. Maybe our kids are out of control because we don't have rules. If you don't have rules, there's no agenda, there's nothing. Kids know when we don't have rules. Adults know when we don't have rules. We have to have rules, and we need to hear no, the word no, not yes, yes, yes. So just like the dress code at Shelton High School and throughout, I don't know if we have a dress code, but kids that have belly shirts is just going to be crazy. And we know that tax dollars pays for our schools, and if we don't change what we're doing, we're not going to have schools anymore. Look at all the schools that are closing. So we really need to take a double take and just realize what's happening. And take advice from people, not that you normally hang out with, but other people. Just kind of see what's going out there, because the more that we can help each other, the better our schools can be. And I know they can be good, but they're not being good. And I know so many people that want to take their kids out of the schools for this reason. So it's just a thought, and I hope you guys listen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Marilyn Aaron.
Good evening. Thank you guys for your time. I wasn't going to talk tonight, but then I decided to on a whim. So a couple things. Back in October, November, when the school board approved for Narcan to be available at all the schools, I was hoping for an update on that because I haven't heard anything, just to see where we're at as far as which schools have it, which schools still need it, how are staff being trained, those kinds of things, because that's pretty important. Kind of piggyback on what Kara said in regards to drugs especially. Also, the levy passed, which is great, but I really hope that when you guys look at the budget, that you really focus on where cuts should and shouldn't be made. And I know that it's a hard job, but you're here to push back if need be. That's what you were elected for, to represent the community. So I truly hope that that comes to your heart when you're focused on that. And then also the other thing, in regards to bullying, like it is a big issue. I mean, kids, staff, I've even, administrative staff have even bullied other people, and it happens, but it's not okay. And in regards to restrooms, I don't know the whole story, and I probably never will, but I have no problem speaking out anyway. There was a fight at Shelton High School about maybe a month ago. There was a transgender student that identifies as female, and they were in the female bathroom. Now, I'm not against that by any means, but why should biologically born students be made to feel uncomfortable just to accept someone else to come into their bathroom because they want to? There should be safety for all, right? So the transgender students, as well as the students that feel uncomfortable by having another student come into that restroom and use it. So I know there's a policy with the district. I didn't have an opportunity to look it up and read it thoroughly so that I could repeat verbatim. But why can't we figure out a solution for all the students so they're all safe, so that we don't have to have fights? Because that transgender student punched the girl in the face. That's not okay. The transgender student shouldn't be made to feel uncomfortable. That girl shouldn't have been made to feel uncomfortable. Did that girl say something to that student? It's very possible that she did. But still, those are things that we really need to consider. So I guess that's all I have to say this time. I'll see you at the next meeting.
All right, thank you for your comments. Are there any comments that have come in by phone? No, there haven't been for a while. So, and if there are no more comments here, that closes out the community comment section. We can go into reports and recognitions. And we've got two of our student representatives here today. Richard, why don't we start with you today? You can give us a report on Shelton High School.
All right, good evening. So some fun things happening at the Shelton High School campus is that they're currently working on the musical. That's where I just came from, like at the end of rehearsals, and it is the Addams Family. Also, the Shelton High School robotics team, they just had an event a week and a half ago, and they got fourth place or it was third place actually in the Pacific Northwest District. So that was really exciting to see success there. DECA will be competing at their international competition next week. And, the Shelton track team, there's a track meet coming up this week. The track team is doing well, and there's also a soccer game. The soccer game is going on right now, actually, this evening. ASB elections are currently taking place. The elections will be happening on Wednesday, but the positions that students are running for, they're getting their speeches ready and they're getting their campaigns ready. There is also testing, and I know there was some testing today, and then I think there's more scheduled for the upcoming weeks. And then the campus is, all the showcases on campus are being changed to showcase all the clubs and extracurriculars that students can do. And I think that that's exciting, and hopefully we'll get more students involved in all of the opportunities at Shelton High School. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And that is all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We always appreciate a report about the high school. And Miranda Myers for Cedar High School.
We shared information about mental health support during spring break, as well as help with scholarships. And Hope Garden has also came to talk to students about summer employment. Today we had a skill-wide egg hunt that one of our leadership groups planned. I heard it was fun. Tonight, 9th graders will learn about all the 3 high skills at SHS currently. We are also starting a garden project with Bordeaux. I can't pronounce that name. Bordeaux, thank you. Next week on the 19th, there will be a research fair at the Cedar and OC campus from 11 to 3 that we are collaborating with Olympic College on. There will be wellness workshops and food trucks. Miss Washington will also be there. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your report on all of that. And yes, I'm missing that 9th grade information night tonight. I've got an incoming 9th grader, but my husband is there with her tonight, so that's always good too. But thank you both for your report. Board members, are there any questions or comments?
I have a question. I'd like to see if you guys have any feedback on how the intersection is working down there in front of Olympic College. They have the flashing lights and whatnot. Has that improved? Is there still?
I haven't heard about it really, but I've heard it's still a bit of an issue.
Even since the installation of those, or is that a?
I haven't heard about the installation.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you.
Yeah, I have, because I've driven past that. I've seen the flashing lights, and there is a speed sign that shows people to slow down, but it is a busy intersection, so it would be, maybe next report you could let us know if there's any type of feedback you get from students at the school on whether they feel like that is a safer intersection to cross.
I will say I was just running with my track team the last week, and we managed to go that way and like cross there, and there's nice, you know, added security. So yeah.
All right, thank you for that feedback. Are there any other questions or comments for the student representatives? All right. Well, we have a fairly quick agenda today. We'll go straight into the consent agenda, which has a number of different warrants, the proposed meeting minutes from the last school board meeting, as well as the personnel report.
I had no questions about that, had a chance to review it, and would move to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Hearing none, the consent agenda has passed. So we do not have any discussion and action items this evening, so I will go straight into board member comments. And Matt, how about I start with you, since we haven't heard from you very much this evening?
Well, thank you for being there this week. It was interesting running a board meeting. I actually have nothing. So I'm stuck in Yakima taking a class this week.
Well, thank you very much for running the previous school board meeting, and thank you for attending tonight, even though you've got work obligations that have taken you out of town. We appreciate that. All right, I will go to Lauren. Do you have any comments this evening?
I would just like to acknowledge those who provided public comment and thank you for addressing your concern as parents for student safety at the schools.
All right, and Carla, I'll go with you next.
Yes. I'd like to say that I had a couple of observations in our district over the last couple of weeks, and I had the privilege of going to Cedar High School. And it was an assembly day, and students honored each other with achievement. GPA and honor roll were mentioned, and some other things that students had researched and found out about each other. There's a great sense of community at Cedar High School and support for each other. I was able to talk to two former students who are now attending from third grade to high school, and one is struggling and one is very ready for college. He has found his niche in life. He knows what he wants to study, and he's been a leader at Cedar High School, and I think this has really helped his maturity and his willingness to take on college in another state. So I just wanted to shout out to Cedar High School. Thank you for having me visit, inviting me to visit. And also Mountain View, I visited, and they had an award assembly for their students who had shown good behavior, and their topic was being safe. And it was very interesting that each teacher celebrated a student in their classroom that showed an example of that. So it's nice to see all the positive things going on in our schools and teachers and students celebrating together. The other thing is that we do appreciate the parent and student report on the arts, and it's still being discussed. We haven't forgotten about it. And another thing that we had this last week is some feedback from the Shelton Education Association. And I think it's a wonderful thing when we are contacted with communications of things that we might improve on or things that we can look at. Same with our parents tonight, bringing things in to look at so that it opens the door for us to investigate. So that is all I have tonight.
All right, thank you, Carla. Sandy, do you have any comments tonight?
I'll provide a little bit of a legislative update. We had the last day of session should be April 23rd, I believe it is, so we have about 2 weeks to go. We started this back in January with hundreds of bills to watch, and then it got cut down to 152, and then it was, trimmed down. We're now down to about 46 bills that are still in discussion. They've looked at the 2 budgets that are out, and WASDA has recognized that one budget being out of the House, one out of the Senate. The House one recognizes more of the salary rebase, trying to minimize the impacts of the different factors that we had, regional factors. And the Senate side focused more on the special ed and transportation, so we'll see how those two blend in the next 2 weeks. There is another cutoff tomorrow morning. I did not get a chance to check the status of various bills in their committees, but it'll be the next 2 weeks that'll be really busy. Other than that, Carrie and I were scheduled for a training, and we ended up being on a wait list, and I didn't get into any of those.
Oh, you didn't? I did last night. They sent me, I did.
Oh.
Yeah, so maybe check your email.
Oh.
We may have been scheduled for.
I was in one last week, but I ended up being in one, but it was actually the second level,
Yes.
class number 2.
I think you and I had different dates for that one,
Okay.
but we might be on the same track for the ones
Okay.
remaining.
Yeah, and that was a very good session. Also, a very good example of the use of Zoom or whatever platform they were on. Had a lot of good tools in it to make the session very workable and easy to navigate. So, even with the issues that I have a lot of times with connections. So, and that's the end of my report.
All right, thank you, Sandy. I don't have a lot to report. I do want to thank everybody who did work hard through the spring break time, because I know we do have a lot of school district people that are out there working hard, regardless of whether people are off on spring break or not. Thank you for the public comments tonight. It is nice to hear from our public, especially about concerns. Safety is one of the big parts of the strategic plan, and it always should be and always will be for all of the aspects of that and for all students. So thank you for bringing up those points. I apologize for missing the last school board meeting. I was out of the state at a work meeting and unable to even Zoom in. So thank you again, Matt, for jumping in and running the meeting, and thank you all for showing up for all of that. I did do a training, and the one that I did last night was on inclusion through belonging, and this is provided by the state, and all school board members have to do these trainings, and we have to then record it, and I'll give a certificate to the school district that I've signed. It was a 2.5-hour long course that had school board members from all over the state. I ended up in a breakout room with someone from Edmonds, Goldendale, Medical Lake, and Mount Tahoma, and all sorts of different areas. And it was really interesting to just hear different board members' perspectives on the topics that was going on, and truly how important belonging is as a human need. And it's one of the steps in Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, and you can't really get achievement unless someone feels like they belong. And how do you do that on a school-wide level? So it was really good. It was well done, and they did utilize the technology really well, and I think that there's several other courses. Some of the school board members may have done this at the live WASDA back in the fall, and they'll probably offer that again this November in Seattle. But they are courses that they are asking school board members to do now on a variety of different topics. So it was really good. Other than that, I will just say I'm happy to be back for school. I think we're going to get sunny weather, even maybe 60 degrees this weekend, so that will be nice to start seeing some spring weather and maybe some flowers to go along with that. My allergies are definitely kicking up, so I know it's spring. That's it for my comments. We do have an exempt session this evening, so that does not include any action to it, but we as a board will need to go into a separate room for our exempt session on a personnel issue. It should take about 30 minutes. As I mentioned, there's no action, so we will come back here to take the action of adjourning the meeting, but there won't be any decision that is made. This is just an opportunity for us to have a meeting on the personnel issue. So at this time, I will have us close this part out, and if board members can go to...
Do we not have anything to sign tonight?
We will sign once we come back.